If you're struggling with LSAT reading comp, you're not alone. This section trips up even the smartest test takers. Many believe you can't really improve at LSAT reading comp, and some prep companies neglect it entirely. But the truth is, you absolutely can improve. Today, I'm going to show you a proven method to tackle reading comp efficiently and effectively. Spoiler alert, it's not about doing more work, it's about doing less work, but doing it smarter. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to extract the main idea, focus on what matters, and save yourself precious time and mental energy. First, for those who don't know me, my name is Steve Schwartz. I've been teaching the LSAT since 2005, and I personally increased my own LSAT score from a 152 to a 175. Now first, let's talk about the biggest mistake most test takers make: overworking the passage. When you're highlighting every other sentence, underlining phrases, and jotting down notes, you're just creating more work for yourself. I know it feels productive in the moment, but here's the reality. Writing notes takes time, and time is your most valuable resource on the LSAT. And those notes rarely help when you're answering the questions. I know that highlighting and underlining might seem helpful, but the official LSAT tools for this on LawHub and Prometric are clunky and imprecise. If you're relying on them, you're setting yourself up for a rude awakening on test day. The bottom line here is that you don't need to memorize the details of the passage while you're reading. You'll have the text right in front of you while you're answering the questions anyway. So the key to reading comp instead is focusing on the big picture. Instead of getting bogged down in the details, the key to LSAT reading comp and your goal should be to focus on extracting the big picture of the passage. What's the main idea? What is the passage fundamentally about? What is the primary purpose of the passage? Why did the author write this? Were they looking to explain, to argue, to critique, or propose? Finally, what is the author's opinion? Does the author take a clear stance? Are they neutral, or are they leaning one way or another? These 3 points, the main idea, the primary purpose, and the author's opinion, are the foundation of almost every single reading comp passage. If you can answer these questions after you read it, you're way ahead of the game. Now here's why this matters. Most LSAT reading comp questions fall into 2 categories: global and detail-oriented. Global questions like main idea, tone, or purpose are super predictable. If you nail the big picture, these questions become straightforward. Now, you might have heard advice to practice with materials like The Economist or Scientific American. But the thing is, LSAT passages are written specifically by LSAC. They are intentionally designed to be more challenging than casual reading materials. That's why they're dense and boring. No one's reading them for fun, so you wouldn't want to waste time with easier material. The other thing is that LSAC actually gives you around 400 official reading comp passages to study from that were on previously administered LSATs. So use them. And if you're short on time and won't be able to use all of them, here's how to prioritize those 400. You want to use the older ones, like maybe the first half of the first 200, for more casual, untimed reading. Then save the newer half, the more recent ones, for your timed sections and full-length practice tests. And even when you don't have time for a full study session, you could still sneak these into your daily life here and there. You could read one on your commute or during lunch or before bed to help you fall asleep. Treat it like an exercise to extract the main idea and to recognize the author's purpose. Now let's get into a bit more detail. Many reading comp passages follow common structures, and if you can recognize these patterns, it'll make even the most dense material feel more predictable. Here are 2 common structures you'll often see. The first is old versus new, where the passage contrasts an outdated view or theory with a newer perspective. Another common one is where you have multiple viewpoints, oftentimes conflicting, then they're followed by a reconciliation or a critique. When you can spot these structures, you will naturally start to anticipate the kinds of questions you'll face. For example, with old versus new structural passages, expect questions about the differences between the viewpoints or the implications of the new perspective. Now, if you'd like my help navigating reading comp, applying these strategies to your LSAT studying, adopting these techniques, my team and I would be glad to help you out. At LSAT Unplugged, we offer live online classes via Zoom, on-demand video courses, small group coaching, and one-on-one coaching. You can check out the links below to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. Now let's talk timing. When you're practicing under timed conditions, the order in which you approach questions matters. There is no reason to do the questions in the order given. I recommend starting with the global questions like main idea, tone, and purpose to start with. These are easier to answer immediately after you read the passage, and that's what we were looking for to start with, right? Secondly, you move on to detail-oriented questions that require specific references to the text to support the correct answer. And finally, you're saving the inferential questions for last. These often require a bit more thought and may require you to read between the lines a bit to support a given choice, even though the answer, of course, is always in the text. So again, global, detail, and inferential. One final tip, if you're struggling to adjust to reading on a screen, you might want to try tools like Spreeder or Phrase Reader. These are free apps that let you copy and paste text and adjust the speed at which it's displayed. It's like putting yourself on a treadmill for reading comp, because you can gradually increase the speed while ensuring that you still understand what you're reading. Now, here's a recap of the 3 biggest strategies that we talked about today. First, don't overwork the passage. Focus on the main idea and other big picture questions. Second, recognize common structures to help you better anticipate the questions. And finally, approach the questions in a strategic order: global, then detail, then inferential. Remember, finally, mastering reading comp isn't about grinding through endless notes or memorizing every detail. It's about understanding how the test works and focusing on what truly matters. If you found this helpful, if you'd like my support, you could check out the links below to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out on your journey to scoring a 170 plus on the LSAT. And in the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.